videography journey started back in 12th grade. I was a school pupil leader at my school, and my principal was just like casually asking me if we also could make an after movie for our school fest, right? And I don't know what happened, but I was kind of hooked on to this idea. And instead of studying for my board exams, like the fest was very near to the board exams, I was so into this idea of making this after movie. Even though I didn't know anything about videography, I had never considered myself a creative person, or have I used a camera before, right? So I went online, how to make a video. Okay, you first capture it and then edit it. What tools are you supposed to use? I found out that Adobe Premiere Pro was the thing. So I learned everything by myself, only the basics that I needed to know to get started. And I actually went on to make a video. It took me a month to make that video. And even today, my school plays that video on their screens, right? So that happened in my 12th grade, and after that I came to engineering. I didn't really continue on that journey, and I was into other of my ventures, right? I wanted to start a business, like a small business around education. That didn't really work out, and I was at a point where I was looking for things, because clearly I was not into engineering and I didn't have anything to hold on to. And at this point, um those how I started remembering how I worked so hard, and how much, how much efforts I put into making a video effortlessly. I didn't have to force it, it just came naturally. And that is when I realized that maybe I should give that a try. And um I started making videos, and I really loved the process, the thought process that you put into before making the video, and actually going and shooting all the footages. And that's a unique experience. Like, every video that you make is a different experience, just because of, like, for example, if you're making an event after movie, you're getting to experience that event as well, right? So that is a gift, I would say, because I get to experience all these different things. And when I come back to my home, like, just to edit all the footages, like, it puts me into a zone where I'm just not thinking about anything else. Like, people think meditation is something like sitting simply, but this is also a kind of meditation, being mindful about whatever you're doing. And that is why I think I want to do videography for the rest of my life, because if I can work hard without really thinking about I should work hard or anything, without pushing myself, I naturally push myself. So that is why I feel like videography is my thing. And there is this thing called ikigai, if you don't know. I don't know if you can. It's basically like a Venn diagram. Okay.
Okay.
So it says that whatever you love, okay, and whatever you're good at, and whatever you can be paid for, and also whatever the world needs, helping other people, whatever helps other people, if something that you're doing intersects with all these things, that is your ikigai. And when I thought about it, like, videography is my kind of ikigai. Why I say this is because uh, I am good at it, at least for a beginner, right? I love what I'm doing, and I can be paid for this. And the final thing is, it can really help people. For example, if it's a social cause, I can get that message through. If someone is trying to build a business, I can help them grow their sales. Or even I can just teach people, like, virtually, right? Like, I don't have to be in a classroom to teach people. Like, I can make a video, and that can help so many people. And I think that is why videography is my
Yeah,
ikigai.
that's
Yeah. So in this world that we live in, success and achievements are really external. Like, we only look at things that are, like, come under the label of success, but we don't really look into what gives us satisfaction. And see, for example, if you are happy, like how you lived your day, that is a success, right? So success is not just big things for me, but really small things too. Like for example, if I plan to do something and I do it properly, that's a success for me. So those are my little successes. But if you ask me about what are the meaningful things that I've achieved in my life, these would be it. First would be, um, so as I told you, I was a school pupil leader, right? So I had the position for 2 years, and I actually put in a lot of efforts, and I changed a lot of things in my school, and even those things are still being implemented even today, right? So that is one thing um, that is very meaningful to me. Second would be, um, okay, yeah. So last year, what happened was we had an event called Photo Summit in VIT, and one of the chief guests were Vishal Punjabi, who's the founder of the Wedding Filmer. So I showed him my work, and as soon as he saw that, his first reaction was that, "Come to Mumbai tomorrow, like work with me, like you like whenever you come, our doors are open." And that is very meaningful to me because it's not about the job offer or anything, but someone who really understands videography understands, like, that I am worth it, right? So that is something meaningful to me. And he told me that if you can do so much when you're 19, I can't imagine how much you would be doing at 39. So that was a meaningful achievement. And another thing is that being in front of the camera is really awkward to me, and it's one of my fears, right? So recently I started recording myself speak, and I started uploading those videos. And even yesterday I had a Zoom session where I was teaching videography to people. So this, like, over like I'm trying to overcome this fear, right? As I'm do in this process, I am finding small things, and this process itself is a meaningful achievement to me. So yeah, I wanted to add one more point here.
Okay.
So there is this quote called "The process is the roses,"
Okay.
right? So even if you think about it, like for example, if you were studying so hard to get into IIT, after you got into IIT, that satisfaction only stays for that moment. But what the process taught you, like the hard work, how to stay dedicated, how to focus on things that matter, all those things are the real gifts. So, like, it doesn't really matter if the goal that you're trying to achieve, uh, did you reach it, or if you reached it or not. But what matters is that you actually tried and you got some lessons from it. So I feel like those things are the actual meaningful things in life.
Yes.
Engineering is one of the most beautiful things that humans have ever created, right? So engineering is a concept where you solve problems, you use something to solve something else. Like we use tech to solve like convenience problems. We use tech to be more productive. The very fact that this session where you're somewhere else and I'm somewhere else, and we are able to connect together, is a result or a product of engineering, right? So learning engineering is not a bad thing at all. It's like one of the best things that you can do. But the intention, why people join engineering college and the way engineering colleges function are the main problem, right? So why do most people join engineering? They join engineering colleges because they don't know what else to do. They feel like this is the safest thing to do. So why that is a problem? Because um, humans, from an evolutionary standpoint, okay, we don't grow in our comfort zones. We grow when we are at a place where there's a lot of discomfort, right? So if you're trying to negate this uncertainty that comes along with life, you're not really going to be able to find what is really meaningful, or, like, what you can be the best at, right? For some people this can work amazing. Like they just come into engineering college and they find that engineering is their thing and it's amazing for them. But for someone who is just there to just, like, as a safety option, you need to be in, like, have in mind that this is not the end goal and you need to go in search of other things as well. So that is number one. Second is, whatever we learn in engineering college is kind of outdated, and they don't really teach us how to be actual engineers. Like, from the 3 years I've been at an engineering college, I don't really know how to do anything when it comes to engineering, right? So, and I've spent a good amount of time in classes as well. So why is this happening? So um, the people who are trying to educate us, the educational institutions, should uh, replace this system with something that is relevant to our times right now. Engineering colleges are not providing the value that it needs to provide, okay, uh, with respect to whatever, like, their aim is, right? For example, if someone joins a like college to learn mechanical engineering, if they learned it thoroughly, like every aspect of it, they wouldn't want to shift to another, like something else, just because they can earn some money. They would look how do I, like, make money with whatever I have learned. That would be the thought process, right? For
Yeah,
example, if I'm a BTech mechanical engineer, if I've actually learned the subject, if I'm not able to make money right now, I would probably do another course related to mechanical engineering and then take up a job.
yeah,
You get it? For example,
yeah,
if
yeah,
I'm good at
totally.
videography, I wouldn't go for something else. I would stick to this. So probably engineering colleges should also focus on this aspect and not
Yeah,
just focus on getting the number of placements, because
yeah,
it looks good on the paper, right? Like, we have these many placements. So this is
like,
something I want to draw.
yeah, most.
So yeah, basically the intention and how it's being executed are the two main problems. But engineering colleges can be great too, because like, when we are in school, it's a very protected environment where everything is being taken care of. But when we come to an engineering college where we have to do everything by ourselves, it teaches us a lot about life, a lot about people, a lot about how we need to approach certain situations. So in that perspective, engineering colleges do really good. After being in VIT for a year, like, I was never really into engineering, and that kind of created a void in me, I would say, right? And that gave and I felt like all the problems that I have had in life at that point of time was because I was not doing what I was good at or what I love doing, and I'm doing something that I'm not really into, and that is why I'm feeling really out of place. And I felt like I am the only person in control to change my life, right? No one is going to come and change it for me. So and the value that I was getting out of college was also not that much, except the social values I was learning, like how to deal with life, right? And that trade-off I was not really happy with. So I felt like I should quit and I should go for something that I love. So I came back home. I did that. I fought with my parents. It was a really big struggle. And then I started freelancing in Bangalore. I got good projects. I worked with Zomato. I worked with Kalari Capital and a few other small businesses out there. But the thing is, I had other issues that was internal, like mental health issues. That was the root of the problem, and not being in an engineering college, which I realized at a later point of life. And considering the factor that my parents were still insecure about my decision, and they really, really wanted an engineering degree to even feel safe about me, so I felt like I should give them that and maybe take these 2 years. Like, this was in my second year, right? So I was like, I'll come back to engineering college, spend 2 more years, and in this time, I will learn more about myself and more about how I can cope with these mental health issues that I didn't address before. So another point is that a lack of mental health awareness. Like if I had known about mental health and how to take care of myself, could have prevented a lot of bitter things from happening. So one size fits all answer for this question, especially whatever we like. When we consider human beings, we are emotional creatures, right? Like we take a lot of decisions based on how we are feeling, and this can play in the right direction for you, or it can go against you. um so the thing is so the thing is relationships are supposed to be um supportive. Like, whatever kind of person you are, it's supposed to be complementary, right? It shouldn't try to change the person you are, or it shouldn't you shouldn't feel like you are not good enough. So there are certain things, right? Like you would probably know, like, don't go in search of people. That is one thing I would like to say. Like whenever you try to go in search of someone, that kind of puts you in a situation where you think that maybe you're not good enough, like, and that kind of makes you feel lesser of a person. And don't go in search of a person. My point is that don't try and go in search of a person, right? Like don't have these preconceived ideas of how a person is before actually getting to like know them and go in search of them. That will only um, lead you to a path where you don't feel good enough. Or even if you uh, get into a relationship with that person, the reality is going to be really different from what you thought that person is. And that kind of like disrupts your system, and it can lead to heartbreak, which will lead to other issues in your life, like where you can't trust anyone, or issues like that, right? So don't go in search of a person where you actually don't know about that person. That is point number one. Second is, um, do not keep your doors closed because of something preconceived. Like, for example, if you had been in uh, a hurtful past relationships, or some like painful past, that does not mean that your future is also going to be like that, right? So um, I believe that every relationship that you go through kind of tries to teach you certain things in life, and you need to be open to that as well. Like life is not just about achieving things and everything, it is also about our personal side of life, and relationships are important in our life. I saw this TED talk where this guy is explaining about a research that was done for over 100 years by Harvard University, I guess. I'm not sure about that. But the research is basically they are studying like thousands of people from the moment they were born to the moment they had died, and they had been documenting every single year, every single transition. And the aim of this research was to find what actually is meaningful in life. Like what is actually, like, we don't know, right? Like at this point we have an idea, like, if we go in search of something, this will give us happiness, this will give us happiness, but we don't really know. So that is why the study was being done, and the results were really surprising. What they found was that even the most successful people of the lot, by successful I mean like rich and whatever wealth they wanted they had acquired, they were not happy when they were 40 or 50. And most of the times that was because of feeling lonely in life, that they didn't have someone to share their experience with. At the end of everything, life is about our experience, right? Like how we go through life is really important. So by not having someone to share your life with, I don't just mean a romantic relationship, I also mean meaningful friendships, right? So this study also showed that people who had good friends who support them, who were there when they were falling down, who gave them a helping hand, and when they were in a relationship that supported them, they were the most happy, like happiest, they were the happiest ones, even though their careers weren't like very, like, uh, like even though their careers weren't like, like very rich and successful.
Yeah, yeah,
Said, our the decisions that we take, or a lot of things that we do in life, are influenced by certain factors, right? For example, how you think about love or relationships are a product of the media that you're consuming. Like, we watch a lot of movies, we watch Netflix and all of that, and what is being portrayed, we think maybe, like, if we have this, like, I would be happy, but reality is something completely different.
yeah,
And I don't want students to fall into that trap. See, relationships are supposed to be like vulnerable, they're supposed to be messy, they're supposed to be real, and relationships take a lot of work. Okay, they're not easy at all. Like, how
yeah,
work
yeah,
is work, how work needs effort, relationship needs effort too. Sometimes the other person needs more understanding, and you have to be there for them, and sometimes they will be there for you.
yeah,
So this is something. Giving up, we mean that you're trying to do something, okay, and you're not really getting what you're expecting, and that is, like, making you give up. That's the point, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah,
So if you think about it, um, when you're trying to reach something, know that you might not be able to reach there. Okay, again, the process is the roses, and again, our decisions are influenced by what we consume. When we compare ourselves constantly to people, we are going to feel like that we are not good enough, and that might lead you to giving up. Like, am I even creating impact by doing this? So it's better to give up, right? But that's not the point here. You you do that for yourself, not for other people. Like, so that is one. Second is that, and this is exactly why you need to find happiness in the small small things, right? So I have this thing called pat on my back. Like,
Mhm.
whenever I do something good, like, you appreciate yourself. Like, it doesn't need to be a big achievement. Like, for example, if I just did 10 push-ups today, where I could have just laid in my bed. So that is an achievement, right? So when you're starting out on a journey, you need to find happiness in these small, small moments. And after some time, when you feel like giving up, when you feel like things aren't working out the way you want it to, you will not think about those things. These small, small happiness will tell you that maybe if you don't have this thing, you won't get these small, small happiness. So just stay here, no, like, don't give up. I wanted to add was
Okay.
that I came across this, I don't know, quote, or I watched an interview. I don't remember the source, but the point is that whenever you try to do something, right, like, that is bigger than yourself. Okay, for example, you're trying to start a startup, or you're trying to start a business, or you're trying to start a YouTube channel or an Instagram page, or even Warby, for that example. Like, this is a platform that you're trying to do something that's bigger than yourself, right? So like, life is going to test you first. Like, like, is this person really worth it? Like, to have these things that are bigger than themselves. And life will throw these challenges at you, like, like, it will make you fall down. And these are the moments that define who you are, right? Like, the way you come out of your rut is, like, is what defines you as a person. So you need to remember that at these challenging moments, that this is only happening because life is testing me, and if I just stay the course, I will get through this. And one thing that always helps is that, have like, there's this thing called light at the end of the tunnel, right? So have some vision, like, like, something to look forward to. Like, for example, for Warby, or for example, for me, it is just about helping people. Like, like, I want to, like, if at the end of the day something I do is going to help someone, that is the light of the end of the tunnel. Even if even if a educational video that I make is not getting, like, a lot of views, but it only helped like 3 4 people, that's still 3 4 people, right?
Exactly.
So So whatever you're trying to do, have something like the light of, like something to look forward to, something that will help you hold on to this at your darkest moments. First would be my principal from my school, right? So what happened was, till my 10th grade, I was just a studious person, just into studies and everything. But after in 11th and 12th, I was the school pupil leader. And what happened was, my principal believed in me so much. Like whatever I say, she agreed to it. Like, she believed that I will get something done if I am claiming that I will get it done. She wouldn't question it at all. And that kind of gave me the self confidence and self esteem that I needed in life. Like every time I felt down, that is what I like remember. Like, if she was one of the most sensible person. Like if she says something, like everyone agrees to it. You get it? So if that kind of a person is putting their trust on you, that really means that, like, that gave me the self confidence I really needed in life, and that has gotten me through it, and I still use it in my life. So she really changed my life. That is number one. Second is my parents, of course. Like my journey has been so weird, I would say. Like it's not like you can't template it anywhere, you know like mm, on paper, if you look at it, like I missed 1 year of college. I have a lot of backlogs. But on the videography side, I'm doing like really, really good. And I'm also into nutrition, healthcare, like fitness and all that. So throughout everything, they are the backbone. Like, without them, like without my mom, for example, like let's say yesterday I had a session, right? Like she would make sure that I'm up. Like I didn't sleep like day before yesterday, to make sure that I make my presentation that I was going to present. And she made sure that I am staying up and I'm not falling asleep. So those small things do get neglected, but without them, I'm not here. So that is point number two. Third would be online influencers, like not influencers, but people who share their opinions online. Like everyone, it can be my friend, it can be someone like Gary Vee, for example. Like consuming those content and like makes you for example, do you follow this channel called Beer Biceps, Ranveer?
Uh,
I don't think so.
no.
Okay. So like online people like those, they make you believe in certain things that you are believing right now. And I'm not the person that I am without the content that I consumed online. So I would like to give credit to them. And finally, do you watch anime?
Yeah, yeah, I watch anime.
Yeah, so I started watching this anime called Naruto
Yeah,
uh,
it's been
in
interesting.
my yeah, seventh grade, I guess, and that kind of changed my life. Because if I look back to it, Naruto actually helped me with positive thinking and not giving up. Like if you look at that anime, it's about a kid who was neglected by society and who was considered like an untouchable. And at the end of the series, a war happens for that person. Like the whole world
Exactly.
is at war for that single person. So that kind of makes you question, like, and it's about positivity and self belief and not giving up. And that kind of have translated into me as well. We have confused convenience with happiness. If you have a car, it's going to be convenient. If you have a AC, it's going to be convenient for you. It's not giving you happiness. And the thing is, the easiest way to not be happy is to um, attach happiness to external things that is out of your control. Let it be people or things or certain situations, right? So if you look at it, the happiest people are the ones that are simple. Like they don't need a lot of things. Just they just know that whatever they control is what they can, and whatever is out of their control, they shouldn't worry about it. So if you are in that mindset, I don't think
Yeah.
things can really affect you. For example, like even in my life, for example, um, like I rejoined college, right? Like after that break, if I kept thinking about, oh my God, I have so many backlogs. Oh my God, how am I going to do that? If I let that affect my peace or my day or how I view myself or my self worth, I'm going to be unhappy, right? But what can I do? I can probably do a lot of courses. I can do like NPTEL courses. Now you have Arrear, summer sem, or weekend. So that is what is in my control. So you need to understand, you need to analyze that situation and break it down and create a system which solves that particular problem and not worry about it. So if you approach every problem this way, like first analyze, then create a practical system that you can control, which would not overwhelm you,
Yeah.
that can like make you live a peaceful life. Yeah. Um, so the thing is that happens because you believe in the system or you let the system influence you more than you influence yourself. Coming back to the same point, right? So in my like in my perspective, money is the skeleton for life. Like even the fact that we are talking right now is because we have good internet connection, we have good all these things that are available to us because money. So don't neglect money, but don't make it the king of your life.
Yeah. Yeah.
You get it?
That's my point. That's my point.
Um like know that it is one of the most important things, and it plays a key factor in how people perceive you, in how convenient you live your life, how like a lot of things, right? So know that, but also know that it should not be the major factor which leads your life. Like you shouldn't live for it. If you provide see, any like money is basically a, uh like something that is traded for value. You get it?
Yeah.
If you
Yeah.
have a t-shirt company, you are getting money in return for those t-shirts. What do the t-shirts provide? They provide value to the people that are buying them. If you're
Exactly.
selling vegetables, like that is what. If you're at an engineering college, you are becoming an engineer, your services provide value. So at the end of the day, it's about the value. And always, if you increase the amount of value that you're providing to others, money automatically increases. So
Exactly.
that is my point.
We just So that's been amazing. Like usually these are examples keeps on coming out once in a month or two or twice in a month. That's been example. Like most of the startups as of now, they just think of small things which are like lagging by most of the community. They just take that point and build around that. So Sanjay, it's been 90 minutes. Have been great conversation and great knowledge transfer you have been done to as per me personally and all over the Bobby listeners over there. So it's like amazing journey I've been through. So like thank you for joining us this weekend and for sharing your insights and advice.
Thank you so much for giving me the platform and the opportunity to like like make my voice louder, right? Like for example, if more people are listening to what I'm trying to say, and if that actually helped someone, that is like something good, right? So thank you for giving me the platform, and it's been a pleasure with you from the start, like how this was organized. So and all the best for Warby. Yeah, if you need
Okay.
any help,
Okay.
you can approach me.